I don't normally make videos like this, but I thought it would be fun to talk about some different Famicom games and what I like about them, and maybe recommend some to people who haven't heard of them or haven't played them. So I thought I'd just go through my collection. I've got about 50 games and talk about each of them. I've got a bit of Idolmaster in the background, just for some background music, and keep my games in boxes like this, so I'll just be pulling them out and talking about each one. I hope you enjoy this. First, of course, we got the Quest of Kai. My favorite Famicom game, in my opinion, the best platformer ever. Very different than other platformers, of course. It's all about carefully controlling your momentum. Very rewarding to master the controls and go for the fastest times in each level. We've got all three Final Fantasy games on the Famicom, and compilation cartridge, FF1 and 2. I like all three of the Final Fantasy games on the Famicom. I know a lot of people don't like Final Fantasy 2 very much, but I think it's very underrated, and probably the deepest RPG on the Famicom mechanically. Just what they were able to do with the hardware in terms of the freedom to build your characters is really impressive. I think the compilation cart is the only 1994 Famicom cartridge that I have. I think there's only about a dozen of them total, and a lot of them are really expensive, but this one is actually pretty cheap. So, yep. Metal Max, my favorite RPG on the Famicom. Very, very creative. It's like, if you're not familiar with well, I make a lot of Metal Max videos on my channel, so you might be familiar with it. But basically, you play as a monster hunter in a post-apocalyptic world, and you customize tanks and use them to fight wanted outlaws and collect their bounties. It's very open-ended, so you don't even have to fight any of the outlaws if you don't want to. Yeah, it's cool. Let's see. Just Breed. It's a tactical RPG. A little late Famicom game. Pretty disappointing, in my opinion. Just pretty easy, and the game gets really slow as it goes on, because by the end of the game you're controlling like 20 units every single turn, so it takes forever just to move them around and fight stuff, and there's not a lot of depth to it, unfortunately. Let's see. Tower of Dragaport. I'm really bad at this game, so probably not the best person to judge it. I think it's pretty cool though. It's just really hard to get used to the stiff controls, because you can only turn when you're in the middle of an intersection, which makes it kind of hard to block attacks unless you're preemptively anticipating them. Pretty cool though. Oh, I should point out, I got the sticker with some Kais on it on my Quest of Kai cartridge. I like that Namco published their games with stickers that you can put on top. Makes it a lot easier to identify what game you have. Let's see. Super Mario Bros. I think I have 3 in here as well. Yeah, I mean, it's Mario. Who doesn't like Mario? We can get a song going if you want. My unit I'm using in Stage for You. I use Makoto, Yukiko, and Chihaya, which is my favorite unit. shiny smile. If you haven't played Idolmaster, you have to play Idolmaster. Well, Idolmaster 2 anyway. Really, really good. Okay, Family Tennis. Classic tennis game. Let's see. Space Hunter. Kind of weird. It's a little bit like one of those 2D maze games, or Metroidvania, if you want to call it that. Very primitive. I think it was released in 1986. It's kind of fun, but definitely feels primitive compared to some later games. Got Bokosuka Wars. I think another very underrated game. It's kind of a meme game because of the game over screen, and because it's very easy to die to like the first enemy in the game. But once you actually understand how to play it, there's a decent amount of strategy involved. All the different enemies have their own AI patterns that you can manipulate, and it's more about avoiding combat strategically than it is about actually fighting. You're trying to mainly have as many units as possible going into the end of the game so you can storm the final boss, if you want to call it that. Let's see. Dungeon and Magic, first-person action RPG. It's okay. I found it kind of boring, to be honest. Let's see. Idle Hakenden. It's an adventure game, a text graphic adventure. It's about an idol, or a girl who wants to become an idol, and a really wacky story, especially as it goes on. I don't know, it's cute. It's cute. Let's see. Monster Maker, Nanatsu no Hiho, and Dragon Slayer 4. Both excellent, excellent games. I'd say Monster Maker is one of the more unique RPGs on the Famicom. Monster Maker is actually a card game series, tabletop card game originally, and they made some video game adaptations. And in this game, it retains some of those card themes to it, and also you cast magic using cards. And Dragon Slayer 4, I think, easily, well, arguably the best Metroidvania game, except for maybe Metroid itself, on the Famicom. Really love how open it is, and how each character kind of has their own gimmick. Like when you're using the father, there's a lot of block puzzle pushing stuff. Yeah, whatever. I'm bad at explaining this. And Dragon Quest IV. I've got the other Dragon Quest games somewhere. But I'm not sure I can find them right now. Anyway, I think 4 is the best of the Dragon Quest games on the Famicom. But I understand why a lot of people like 3. What is this? Famicom Meijinsen. It's a shogi game. Obviously, 8-bit shogi is not exactly the most advanced AI. So if you're even decent at shogi, you can beat anything on in this game. I find it's pretty good for beginners though, because well, there's different characters you can play against, and the AI for each character kind of usually goes towards a certain opening what do they call them? Formations or whatever. Castle. So you can kind of learn how to exploit each opening by playing the AI repeatedly. But again, it's 8-bit shogi, so it's kind of gets boring once you're actually good at shogi. Tokugenryu. Is it Kana anywhere? Anyway, this is one of those like Koei type strategy games, except it's by Namco, I think. I didn't really play this one much, to be honest. I don't really know how to play those Koei type strategy games, so I need to actually find the manual or something. Willow. I don't really like Willow. It's like a bad Zelda. I know some people like this game, but the dungeons and the combat I think is really bad. Ganbare Goemon. I think everyone knows Ganbare Goemon. It's fun. It's fun. Kind of simple. I remember some of the levels start to at least vaguely repeat as you go later in the game, but it's alright. I wish there were bosses. I heard in Ganbare Goemon 2 they added bosses, but I haven't actually played it yet. Let's see. I need to read this. Daimashikyo Gallius. It's another Metroidvania kind of game. This is actually different from the MSX Gallius. It's a bit stiff with the controls, but it's cool. If you like Castlevania 2 or whatever, this is like a better Castlevania 2. Well, it's not really true because it's more just dungeons and not overworld. But it's a pretty similar style. Let's see.